Hello everyone in the channel. Today we're talking about a rather sensitive topic. Today we're talking about Europe and war. What's happening? And most importantly, is war near?
There are 800 billion in investments and weapons. The announcement of this and other money spent on armaments has even surprised the markets. But beyond the money invested, today we're here in this video to understand how the situation will change for Europe and for ourselves. Should we really go to war? Is Europe arming itself? But what could happen? Let's focus on the last few months. American foreign policy has changed. Since Trump took office, negotiations have been initiated with Russia behind closed doors, without involving either European countries or Ukraine. At the same time, high tariffs have been announced against the European Union. Tariffs that would severely harm the European economy. To give you an idea, the United States is the country that exports and sells the most. But that's not enough, because Trump has also stated that he wants to withdraw American troops from European bases. And we must not forget the statements about Greenland, which is currently part of Denmark. In short, it's not exactly a peaceful and conciliatory picture. A tangible sign of the tensions was the official visit of Macron, the French president, to the White House. There, with Trump, the commercial tariff policies were discussed, but most importantly, the approach to resolving the conflict in Ukraine. Macron and Europe want to place Ukraine at the center of the negotiations, knowing, however, that European funding for Ukraine is backed by Russian assets, frozen in various European countries. While Trump is interested in receiving compensation for funding the war effort, specifically related to the exploitation of rare earth mineral resources in Ukrainian territory. During the conversation, Macron spoke in French, openly corrected Trump, and in short did everything to make it clear that he was not willing to go along with it. At the end of the exchange, Europe and the United States are quite far apart. The final blow comes with the meeting between Trump and Zelensky, which took place on February 28th. In this meeting, Zelensky was treated terribly. Trump even shouted that the risked a third world war. However, Trump demanded harsh conditions to continue supporting Ukraine. Most importantly, he asked for the United States to have total control over the country's mineral resources for decades. Despite this, the Ukrainian delegation had still expressed willingness to accept the harsh American conditions. But Trump did not sign the agreement and violated the agreements that had already been made. This is not a good message for the European Union. Indeed, doubts begin to arise about the willingness of the United States to intervene in defense of European territory, with Ukraine being the priority. For the first time since the 1940s, this causes Europe, for its part, to rally around Zelensky and Ukraine. On March 1st, 2025, the United Kingdom convenes a summit in London with the participation of European leaders and NATO to discuss support for Ukraine. After this meeting, the UK guarantees £2.26 billion to Ukraine. But from this point, the market notices something. On March 3rd, 2025, they realize that Europe is heading in a new direction and heavily invest in companies involved in defense and armaments. Investments increased by 15%, and this change is significant. They understood that something is changing in the markets. In fact, on March 4th, 2025, Ursula von der Leyen also raises her voice, saying that it's time to prepare for war. She presents the Rearm Europe plan, which aims to spend 800 billion euros
over 4 years. An enormous amount aimed at making the European Union one of the world's major military superpowers, with 650 billion coming from a fund. In this case, the Stability and Growth Pact would be suspended. States could invest freely, even in debt, exceeding the 3% annual limit on new debt, but only if the investments are made in defense. Rearm Europe aims to be a response in case of emergency. The plan is presented by the Prime Minister of the state. Now, all we can do is wait and follow the developments. The Italian economy could change. What do you think? We don't agree. We shouldn't start preparing for war, but rather try to love each other more.